for me, what irritates me is when Nicki gets into defense mode, she starts to use use any kind of black radical talking point or feminist theory or anything like that, and she bastardizes it so bad.
And he also said, made sure that everybody knew he did not watch the Super Bowl. And this is a snippet of what he said. But it's
Did he
the
say
context of it.
Kendrick and his parade shit?
No.
If he didn't say that,
If she is not the best and not the most revered right now, who the am I?
You are actually somebody who was a legend to us. We can't even say your music is whack. Just saying you are crashing out, actively crashing out in front of the world.
And that's the thing I want from Nicki. Don't tell me and don't assassinate other people's character. Get in the booth. Let your lyrics, let your music, let what your legacy show me that.
say it cannot be a coincidence. Every bitch who doing well, they all wrong, Nicki. What don't you do? How don't you wake up and get in it?
Next question. See ya.
I'm sorry.
Fools, all of you.
No, because all I think is next question, Tamika.
Y'all not gonna let this lady introduce herself?
Sorry.
Shame.
Listen,
Gee, it's already late.
and I don't have. I'm too tired to fight them.
Sorry.
Honestly, it's a slow week in Black people media land. And I refuse to talk about Nicki Minaj a second week in a row, despite the fact that she is in fact doing new wild shit.
Crashing out.
I'm gonna say everything I said aged the well.
Miss Profit.
I'm saying, and we didn't even get to talk about all the Young Money because even Drake across trying to cause a Brits versus American.
What did he do?
He
Drake
told-
do?
Oh, I'm
Okay.
so sorry for bringing that up. He said the British rappers are the best rappers.
Oh,
if
I
I'm gonna
saw
learn from
that clip
anybody, I
on
said
mute.
Drake. Shut
The best
up.
lyricist. Yeah.
Best lyricist. Shut up. Your top 5 ain't
He's
even
doing
British.
the thing. He said, hey, listen, it's a Canadian rapper talking about an American art form saying who's best. He's doing the thing. He's doing exactly what Drake does. And he's not feeling the love here. So he's got to go across the pond.
Yep.
Then he's got to go into the other part of the diaspora and hit it with the fucking Jamaicans and shit. You know what? I'm like, you know what? Drake moves like Trump to me. He be
Your man's
like,
not
wherever
hot.
I could get it, I'm going to get it.
And that's exactly
And whatever I
what he's gonna
gotta
do every
say, I'm
time.
gonna say.
Your
He's
man's not
he's
hot.
a hurt child. I said grow up.
Shout out to whiteness.
Okay.
I wouldn't be with y'all either. If I
Everywhere he go, it's like he has to pander because, it's going to be people there, shouting out Kendrick and stuff. Drake has been dragged. He's very rich, but it just goes to show like money for me, money could do a little something. But for Drake, all the money he got, it's like he ain't got no friends. He's nothing. So he's just going where I guess when he goes somewhere else saying that the British people have the best rappers, and probably for them they do over there. And it's, I don't really know any British rappers, so I can't really speak to that. But he don't listen to them like that. There's no way. There's no way.
he
I
don't
don't
listen to them
he
like
don't
that.
listen to them like that. He going over there lying. He can't name them off the top of their heads. Like it was a crazy clip. But the Nicki Minaj messaging to SZA, like just out of nowhere, like now she was like, "Now how I get in it?" Like I don't know why I'm
I was
not
tweeting about
see how you're
Mercury
throwing into
retrograde,
things?
and Nicki Minaj cannot fathom that it can be about anything other than
I just couldn't. I'm like,
it's just said it's Mercury retrograde. Like, be careful out there. Like, don't do nothing silly because, as anybody with a half a brain knows, retrograde is associated with being all over the place and doing
And you
shit.
know SZA's a little woo-woo girl too.
Nicki
like
said she's talking about me, and I took that personally.
But in all fairness, Nicki was talking about Top. And so I can see how she would see that and be like, maybe SZA's shading her and being like, Top, don't fall for it. Fuck that bitch. I can see it a little bit. I still think that Nicki's Nicki. But I'm the person that's like, I can see how somebody would have thought
let me
that.
read you. Let me tell you what you can't do. Okay? If a gal, just because it's just funny. Nicki's ego is so crazy. It's just like, SZA's a famous like the idea that SZA can't be talking about nothing else that Nicki rowing, especially when, but for SZA to tweet, let's say, okay, Sure. Say in your mind, a normal person who's sane would say, "She shading me? You think she shading
Right.
me?" And
Why you just ask?
make a note about that name. I might say to their friend. But this, let me tell you what Nicki instead actually said.
She went crazy.
SZA said, "It's Mercury retrograde. You know, don't be silly out there." Nicki said, "Wait, does SZA think she's more successful than me?" LOL. Y'all catch up, please. SZA, if every song you've ever done vanished right now, the music business wouldn't even miss you. I've been to countries that never even heard of you. I know you're not that stupid, are you? Stadiums? Did you look at the venues I played on my own headline festival tour out the country last year? Bitch, have you ever headlined to 80,000 people? Bitch, what have you ever done besides yodel with auto-tune that need retuning? That's
Not
crazy because Nicki
yodel.
can't sing. That's so crazy when Nicki can't sing. Ain't never could have sing not one day in her life. Anyhow,
Nope.
she
But then
said,
she started
"Boo,
body shaming
I'm
her
an
too.
icon. You're not." The end. That's how icons is carry on. Pay that man for almost breaking his back. Why didn't you speak up when your exec was bullying and harassing me, you dirty, mangy cunt?
It got crazy.
This how the bitches talk to women, and then boy, look here. She said these bottomed numbers on all platforms have y'all losing your motherfucking minds. These botted numbers. Oh, you the type that would have been quiet in school trying to fit in. What? You still have no clue who you are. I know you went nights without washing that musty face. Bitch, how you remember exactly where every freckle go. Just let me tell you something. Nicki crazy. I also don't like anytime a bitch is even anywhere like any darker than a paper bag. Nicki start calling them every kind of ugly. Like that is always interesting to me. How SZA ugly now is beyond me. But I think this is funny because if SZA said so right now, quick, how many Grammys you got? Nicki will lose her mind.
So Lauren LaRosa had broke it down, and it was TDE's new artist, which I think SZA's under TDE, and TDE's new artist had tweeted out or something about some song called Broken Barbie. They were supposed to have a while back Nicki Minaj on the song, and Nicki never contacted them back. So I guess the tweet sent her into a downward spiral, into a black hole beyond hell. And I just feel like there was no reason for her to come out like that, but SZA was the target. And then SZA's on tour. This is the thing. SZA's on tour. And I don't know. I just kind of sat down and thought, and I'm like, dang, Nicki Minaj is a legend. You know, even if you like her or not, she just is. And I don't think she can fathom, or she's like, I don't think she can deal with not being Nicki Minaj from 5-10 years ago, 20 years ago. She's like, so she has to like, she's not dealing with that. Okay. It's like she's having a crisis, and anybody that she can try to throw anything at, she's gonna do it. And I guess this was SZA, TDE's artist, and then SZA said something, and immediately she tied it to, oh, you think you better than me? You think you think you got more songs than me? We can go bar for bar, ho. Like, what's up? Like, and it got crazy. And it's like SZA was like, my parents is in good health, and that's all I'm happy about. Says I'm on tour. Thanks God is good. Like, I don't know.
SZA replied and was like, I'm not even on.
Erwan had my juice. Everything is good. So you think you better than me because you shop at Erwan? Okay. How did we get here? So I was gonna say this. Like, I'm listening to y'all, and I love, Rebecca, that you came with facts. The thing I think about is Nicki reminds me of that. I think we all had this girl when we were in high school. That girl who sat in the back of class and was waiting for anybody to like for her, so that way she could start a fight. That's literally what Nicki gives. Like, Nicki gives me that girl who sits in the back of the classroom. What, you looking at me? Nah, girl, I was looking for my pencil.
But she only want to scream. She don't actually want to physically fight. She only want to cuss and carry on. Because let's not forget,
exactly.
That's the girl. Niggas was like, hey, niggas was
at Harper's Bazaar.
She always got some hot Cheetos on and her baby fat jacket.
That's very descriptive and very true. I could see it. I could see it right now. But you know, it's so interesting because it's like she does this thing where she has to center herself in all the moments. Like, I really sat down and thought about this. I'm like, I really loved Nicki at one point, and still will play the mixtape, still will do all the like I do. But and I think she's beautiful, you know, have her life, all the things. But any artist that was coming out, there was a few years back when she had all the artists and she was like handpicking artists to go on her remix of her songs, or and these artists were already doing it without knowing Nicki, but praised Nicki at some point. But then it was like, I'm going to choose who's next, who got next, and I'm going to have to be the one. It's like she put herself in the mix of like, I wanted to do togetherness with the rap girlies, I want to do all that, and then cause division, more division, because I think it was her and Lotto, and Lotto was in love with Nicki Minaj growing up, had the whole Barbie look, had all of that, and then they were going head toe to toe and head, like it just was like, why? Doechii, I'm pretty sure it's not far behind.
She
There'll be a
attacked Doechii at the Blue
She been
online
attacked
today too.
Doechii.
You
Yeah.
see?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like, if you
yeah,
can't
see.
say it, cannot be a coincidence. Every bitch who doing well, they all wrong, Nicki. What Doechii do? How Doechii wake up and get in it? Like I'm saying, it's like every time Nicki be so clearly, it's clear what it is. It's a jealousy thing. For you to be going out of your way, writing paragraphs, trying to paint SZA of all people as unsuccessful. SZA been on a run for several years now. What are we talking about? SZA's like,
Still had the
SZA
longest
has
running
all the
album on the
metrics. The bitch
Billboard
on tour
100.
right now. She just
Mhm.
performed at the Super Bowl. They just gave her a bunch of Grammys. She has at least 2 albums considered classics. Shitting on SZA is crazy, but it says something. You shitting on SZA, you shitting on Meg, you shitting on Doechii, you shitting on everybody. Whether or not we ever heard them acknowledge you in this life, it's because you don't like that they doing well. You got to come on top of Doechii. She posted something on Twitter like, Doechii monthly listeners on Spotify is down.
Now, how she got
Is
in
it
it
by the
though?
way?
Now
When you
you
want to
know
shit on
that.
SZA, it's those are botted streams. When because SZA got the numbers. When you want to shit on Doechii, saying her numbers have dropped. Now all of a sudden the stream numbers matter.
It's the stream thing is deeply connected. Sorry for hitting the mic. Deeply connected to Drake because Spotify is doing the audit of the bots and the whole lawsuit and saying that the bots are what's pushing people forward. And of course, she has her loyalties where she has her loyalties. I think she's jealous, but I think she's like a really hurt person.
Yeah.
I don't think like when Nicki first came out in New York was not with her the way that I think she really wanted them to. And she even talks about how like Wayne and them told her, you got to look a certain way. You need to do your body up and this and that. And I think she's been really harmed throughout the industry and slighted. And so and I'm not making excuses for her at all. I'm just trying to humanize her and not saying that her behavior is, I think she's, I don't have no tolerance for Nicki. I'll be honest. I can't listen to her music because she just gets on my nerves. Even the way who she married, like the whole thing, I'm just like, you got it, girl. But what I will say is that she sounds like somebody who has been slighted her whole life, who feels neglected, rejected. And so she's going to call it out. She's hypersensitive to it. And anytime she feels like anybody's sunning her or anybody's doing anything, she's going to jump right on it. And so she's just lashing out instead of like actually healing the parts of her. Like, girl, if you've accomplished all this despite all the no's and all the eye rolls and all the shut doors, like be happy about that. And it's a shame because the way she's going about it, it's like, I'm sure that there are some people who have slighted her. I'm sure there's some truth to some of this stuff, but because you handle it like a child, because you handle it like someone who's just who is not interested in solutions, right? And then you position possibly real victims and you're like, justice for this person, to like somehow connected to your own idea of struggle and pain. It just is like, girl, have a seat because it's too easy. You're too much of an easy target based off of the choices that you've made. And like your body shaming people, sis, you was walking around looking the way you was looking for a while. What you mean? And I don't even want to be that person, but like you should completely understand why she's drawing on freckles. It's probably the same reason why you got your ass done.
Right.
And
What's wrong with
everybody,
you?
and I ain't gonna lie, TDE do got the good. Their skinny BBLs requirement for the women are a little crazy. They look great though. SZA and Doechii's BBL look good, but
Doechii
what I
not
was
TDE, is she?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Did
that.
not know that. I was 10 years old.
Yeah, she
Come on
is.
now.
That's funny.
And they got a new little black girl too. Stop playing. But what I was actually thinking around is actually collectively.
Oh shit, it checks out.
Oh no, Doechii. I'm so sorry. Doechii, of course Doechii's on TDE. I don't know why I thought the other one. What's the girl's name? What's that
SZA?
girl's name who's problematic? I think she white and black.
Azalea.
Oh,
Doja. I heard Doja Cat.
Doja. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
you said
no,
problematic.
no.
Oh,
No,
Doja.
She's
Doja, I
showing
know,
feet.
of course.
Yes.
She's
She's
showing
showing
feet.
I apologize.
I'm right
What
there,
is
Good.
there.
I'm here now. Continue.
We here. But I was actually thinking around this in connection to like how Wayne, all the Young Money, so Wayne, Drake, and Nicki all seem to have like this weird feeling of being slighted across the board, whether that's like, what should my legacy begin to look like this late into my career? Like they're all pretty much asking like, I deserve respect and everybody should respect me in this kind of way. So there's almost an entitlement to, because of the legacy that they built. And honestly, I was like, they ran so much of like the early 2000s, 2010s a lot of the time. So it was like back to back to back, hit after hit. We saw them all together. And we forget about Tyga, who gets treated like a middle child, but that's another story for another day. But when we think around those three in particular, they looked at themselves as a big three. And so I think around how Nicki's responding right now, I think around how even Kendrick really took out Wayne and Wayne and Drake, but not in the same sense of like, it was intentional. Well, no, Kendrick was intentional with Drake, but not necessarily Wayne. But what I'm trying to get at is like, I don't think they have been able to figure out how do their legacies exist today in this current climate, and almost like what happens with their image in the public imagination at this point in time, because Wayne is not performing the ways in which that he used to, but you do have other folks like Nas late in his career doing what he got to do. That Clips album is going crazy right now. Hove with 444. There's like a development that is happening that they are starting to age with it, but I don't think that they have necessarily solidified how they didn't solidify their longevity outside of their talent. And I think that's something that feels like, huh?
I said, can I defend Lil Wayne?
No, you can absolutely. I think you can absolutely like you can defend.
Not that album.
Depending.
Right.
No,
I'm
not going to defend.
No, not that album.
Okay.
Not that album.
No, I'm not crazy. Be serious.
But I do think that there is something to say around like when you have when you're in this industry for as long as you are, I don't know if they found how to maintain their legacy to evolve in the ways in which that it needs to, right? And I think that's something that's been really interesting to kind of witness. Wayne might feel like a different story, but Nicki and Drake have absolutely been like, now I don't know. I have a little bit more hope.
So let me make sure I give Lil Wayne what I think is the credit, the defense he needs. First of all, former diehard Lil Wayne fan. Let me just say this: through high school, like diehard Lil Wayne fan. Like I remember in like 2009 when Twitter like killed him off that night. I thought I was hyperventilating. Okay, like I used to love Lil Wayne. It took me a long time before I was like, Lil Wayne, what is this? What is it? What are we doing here? And I think Lil Wayne is not without critique. And I think mostly to me, the critiques I have for Lil Wayne is on every time he opens his mouth on anything political or race related, he turns out to be the most ignorant alive. Like, please just shut the fuck up.
So is Nicki, and so is Nicki, and so is Drake. They are terrible with their stuff.
But what I will say about Lil Wayne is I think Lil Wayne is pertains to this particular how Lil Wayne's getting lumped in with like how his legacy is because of how Drake and Nicki are acting. I think that's a lot of them because to be fair to Lil Wayne is somebody who at like the top of his career, the height of his run as an individual artist, to me is one of the few like artists that took on other artists and stepped aside to let them become greats. Like Lil Wayne, there's a lot of selflessness to me that was displayed in Lil Wayne's role in Nicki and Drake's rise. And I think overall, I don't see Lil Wayne ain't on the timeline carrying on bad like fuck you ungrateful y'all don't appreciate what I did to hip hop fuck all that. Lil Wayne was like
he just was. What are we talking about? He was just acting like that about the Super Bowl.
I was just about to say he didn't say all out. He wasn't on the timeline.
He said a lot.
I was gonna say what he said. I don't think he's carrying on like these people. He was up. He expressed that he was disappointed. I think there's something to be said about if you want to say he was acting entitled because there's no reason why he should assume that he had to get the Super Bowl just because it was in New Orleans or whatever was happening. But I don't think he didn't carry on like these people that he said he was disappointed and he felt like he let his fans sit down because he didn't do what he needed to do as an artist in order. That's what he said. That's very different than every one of these other people are ass, you ugly pieces of shit with your shitty bought-in music. Like, that's not what Lil Wayne was doing. Lil Wayne was like, damn, I thought I should have get this. I'm disappointed. He didn't even hit it with like a fuck that Kendrick. He didn't deserve. He didn't even say all of that. He just was like,
it was a little bit in there.
but it was a little bit in there.
Yeah.
It
I ain't
makes
gonna let
it.
you.
It's very.
I ain't gonna let
You gonna
you
let him
rewrite
out.
this.
He didn't.
Nah.
So look at what Lil Wayne. Oh no, let's pull it up. No, because we're not gonna act like Lil Wayne was cursing this nigga out. He
Olay
did not
said,
say
No,
that.
"Show me
No,
the
I never
receipts."
said that.
Nah,
I'm not
no
saying that he
cussing
But I'm
out.
cursed
saying
him
we're in
out.
a conversation where we
Little-
talking about the kind of who actively, we don't gotta, they're not implying anything. They are outright online, crashing out, saying names, talking shit about them like a dog. That's a big difference from being like, damn shit. I was disappointed I didn't get that. Like, there's a little bit of salt. Thinking there's a little bit of salt in that is very different from being like, fuck that nigga.
He didn't just say it once. He said it multiple times on multiple platforms. And Lil Wayne and his background and his pedigree is very different from Nicki Minaj and Drake. And I think the expectation from Lil Wayne is different. He carried it the way he carried it, and he's not going to go tweeting and calling people bitches and hoes and stuff because that's just not Lil Wayne. What I'm saying is the way that he carried it, in my opinion, is comparable to the sentiment. At least to me, he feels the same way as them. He feels slighted, and he wanted to make that known.
Feeling slighted and thinking everybody else in the industry is ass and beneath you. And
No, I'm not saying he
that's
thinks
what I'm saying.
that.
I'm like, there's a very different thing when we talking about. Aaron played a video I just put in the chat so we can make for the people who haven't seen it. What Lil Wayne said.
They said, Olay, you ain't getting this. Wayne ain't getting off that easy.
You know, I'm a little on the fence, but we'll look at that.
Wayne was acting up.
I'm saying
sorry.
it's different. To me, Lil Wayne's remarks would be taken very, very differently if Drake and Nicki Minaj weren't acting a fool and those weren't being attributed to him. Like, y'all are all in one camp.
I don't attribute them to him.
Heard a lot. You know what I'm talking about? I heard a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. It made me feel like not getting this opportunity. And when I felt like you guys reminded me that I ain't without y'all. And
pause that, Aaron.
Yeah.
Now let's
vowed.
Let's just revisit Nicki's remarks.
Wait, no, not out of context. He also vowed to never play the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He also vowed. He also said, made sure that everybody knew he did not watch the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't interested in watching the Super Bowl, and he wasn't going to watch the Super Bowl. And this is a snippet of what he said on one of the podcasts that he appeared on. I just put the context in there.
Kendrick and his career and shit.
No.
If he didn't say that, he cannot be put in the same category with the lights out.
But Olay, you're not hearing me. I'm not putting him in the same category.
I was the one who volunteered to defense Lil Wayne to distinguish him from something. So that's what I'm saying. I am distinguishing him from his whack
versus their whack. It's whack.
Whack
to me,
I suppose, but no.
It's different kinds of whack, but it was whack in my humble opinion.
Levels to the whack.
There's levels to it. Truly. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Crying.
So, to
shout out to Wayne, though, you know? I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you had this affinity. I love this.
What?
It's good to know. To Wayne.
Learning about
Lil Wayne, I think Lil Wayne I've written articles, I just said, I think there's a tons of critique to be had for Lil Wayne. I've talked about Lil Wayne's political beliefs. I don't think we should listen to anything that comes out of Lil Wayne's mouth. I think his music fell off more than a decade ago. I just don't think it's fair to include that expressing his hurt feelings out loud and being salty and being in his feelings is not the same as Nicki and Drake's like tirade denigration of tons of people and their catalog. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's like, to me, Wayne has at least demonstrated throughout his career that he is not that kind of like that's very, his children are wilding. And so that's being put on his back is all I'm saying. Like,
his daughters definitely had a lot to say.
Mm-hmm. I can see what you're saying in that sense. Like, okay, in this particular clip, like he has gone rogue and he's said a lot of crazy stuff and called people out, all kinds of things. You know, he sees himself as the best and he says a lot of crazy things, the policing and all that stuff. But we're gonna put that right here. But I do see when you're saying like she's coming out And again, I really try to flesh this out in my head. Why is she crashing out? I believe that she's legendary. She is somebody that a lot of people love, and they go, when you think about female rap, she's in the mentions. But I feel like you were saying, Antoinette, because she's been through a lot in the industry. But I also don't feel like because she thinks that it does give her the right, because she friends and she got a track with old girl in the gospel world. And so even in some of her crash outs, she's mentioning, she's like, Tasha, I want to say it's Tasha Lockhart, whatever. But even in her mention, she's like, of other people, she's like, God will, don't mention me because you can't mention me because God will handle you, and the Lord, she started spitting out verses. You see what I'm saying?
The
And it's
collective
like, she feels like that
karma.
covers her and that gives her the ability to go after people. And it's like, no, you need to go see somebody. You got to go sit on somebody's couch, sis. You are not dealing well with you not being the highlight in music right now, but it doesn't take away from you being legendary. It doesn't take away from your impact in hip hop or the music industry. But I like, because how Doja get into it? It ain't too long. She gonna mention Doja. It ain't too long. She gonna call Doja a white woman. This is coming. All these things. She's probably gonna.
Well, that's exactly what she did to Lotto.
Yeah. Right. And she's going to sick her Barbies on them, or the whatever what they call the Barbie, is the Barbies,
Barbs.
whatever.
Barbs.
Her
The
crew,
Barbs.
the Barbs.
With the Z.
That's not even working anymore. That whole thing where she has to get online and says, Bobs, y'all, calm down. It's not working anymore because everybody's like, give it a rest. Your followers, it's dusty. Like we sit down and enjoy your family life and come back out on a tour, make
Your
some
hair's
music,
uneven.
something. But this ain't it.
Aaron, pull up Nicki Minaj's Twitter right now so you can see this gal entire feed right now. Like it ain't one or two. She
not
is on there
okay.
She's not
crashing
okay.
out about
But
SZA
Nicki Minaj
talking shit and like,
Nicki
hey,
hasn't been okay. She hasn't been okay for years though. She's been crashing
Exactly.
out over everything
For years.
for
And she's
years. Like
somebody's
you remember when
mom,
she
so
was
it's sad.
remember like once. Oh yeah, like I feel like I ignored her crash outs before, but once she got the Beach Radio show, you remember that
Yeah.
on
that's what she
Apple?
was.
Queen Radio.
She was
Queen
like
Radio.
Queen Radio. She was crashing out regularly on Queen Radio. She wouldn't even be there most of the time, but if somebody was talking about her, she'd do like a 2 a.m. live and have like 50 dudes in the studio, like, and be like, I'm surrounded by gangsters. she been crashing out.
it's her on here right now, like calling this woman every kind. If you keep scrolling, she call her ugly. She says she fat. She'll be in skinny at the same time. She talking about her freckles. Let me tell you something. It's insane to see a bitch whose entire body is purchased, like entire body from head to toe. And I remember, listen, what you call it? This elephant never forgets, because I remember when 6ix9ine put it out there how much money Nicki Label spent to Photoshop her to look smaller in his music videos. It's so crazy. For one, this is what I'm saying. It's not that I don't be sympathetic to the plights that Nicki Minaj had, but Nicki Minaj is up against the same sexist system as all of these women, and she don't have a problem with this. Look at how she denigrating all these women's looks, their bodies, their this, their next thing. Every lights, any woman lighter than her, she called white. Any woman darker than her, she called ugly. She calling her every kind of fat. We're talking about her freckles. This is the next thing. Nobody could say that but Nicki enhancements, but she want to talk about everybody else. Nicki's a mean-spirited gal, but you cannot look at this and say that good shit this is crazy to me.
But
But
this
I
is
think
what
it's
people do,
everything
though. They
everyone.
weaponize what was weaponized against them. That's
This is true.
That's what they're gonna do. I mean, SZA just wrote on her. She's wrote, "I don't have beef with a single soul. If you're mad, get well soon." With the heart thing,
I'm telling you.
that's it. Like, because she knows too. Like, God bless. I hope you're all right over there.
And she's not okay. Like, I think that it's again the control that she wants, the respect that she's looking for, that she has still, but in her mind, and she's just looking for this. I think it's her frustrations with the industry and how her career isn't going the way she wanted to as of right now. Maybe personally, with her personal life being always in the media, when they discuss her, they're going to discuss her husband. They're going to call him everything but a child of God. They're going to bring up the history every single time. And then they're the parasocial triggers. Like, ain't nobody talking to you. This is not, but she's triggered, like you were saying earlier. So she's going to anything that is an easy target to her or a big personality that she can bring down and make small so that she can feel big again, that's what she's going to do. She's going to attack that. And right now, Doechii, look again, how Doechii get in it? Doechii's on the cover of magazines, winning awards, living her good
and honestly
life.
had such an amazing performance across the pond. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes,
demonstrating like it's more than not being, it's more than feeling like you're not getting your flowers, it's more than feeling slighted, it's more than not being happy with your career going and simply not wanting other people to be successful. Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
The need to convince everybody that they are not successful, that they are not shit, that they're not talented. Like read what she's saying. Oh, she's a real artist. She's not a real artist. She can't sing. She don't look at. She don't this. Everybody is this like. No, like I said, and I said it last episode, don't nobody ever take from Nicki's catalog. You don't never hear none of these people say Nicki can't rap, her music ain't good, she ain't pretty. Nobody ever says any of those things about her, but Nicki has to. It's never just about whatever her gripe is. It's always, how can I assassinate your character? And that's what's consistent across the board. She don't just say, oh, Jay-Z owe me money and I'm mad. No. It's let me bring up weaponize a bunch of other bullshit talking points. Let me come up with, oh, he ain't a Democrat, he ain't do his. Meanwhile, Nicki ain't never used her platform to advocate for a motherfucking thing, to be political, to get us
funny though.
Except for when she
you ruin rap, you ruin football.
She brought Ben Shapiro on. Stop playing.
Brother them, cousin them, penis, and don't take the vaccine, and then all she was pushing that.
Oh, I remember that.
Right.
I remember that. Oh my god,
she brought it back up in this beef. I'm pretty sure.
If I may, I think for me, listening to all of this, and I really don't give that lady any of my attention. I genuinely, my struggle, or at least what I'm, like Asante says, get in the booth. You know, I keep thinking about certain artists who like, I have a problem with the industry. I have a problem with all of these things. Like, and I always hate to bring it back to Beyonce, but I think Beyonce is a great example of, I'm going to show you I'm going to show you, people are going to talk shit. People are going to say terrible things about me. So I'll just show you that I'm the best. And that's the thing I want from Nicki. It's like, if you really are, you don't tell me and don't assassinate other people's character. Get in the booth. Let your lyrics, let your music, let what your legacy show me that. And that's the thing I can't discredit from Wayne. Like, aside from all the other BS, Wayne still has a catalog that is good, right? And I'm almost certain that if you put him on a track today, he is going to give you some good music.
That album,
I heard that.
We just don't worry about that last album. We don't worry about that last album.
Let me clarify some good lyrics. He may give you some good lyrics. But what I'm saying is, I think we have to, like, I just want artists, and I see this a lot, like, why can't, like, let your music, let your artistry, let your history speak for you and be the thing that has everyone being like, that's the reason why they're the GOAT. Like, that's the reason why they're bomb. That's why they're amazing.
But I think there's something missing here that we're overlooking, is that we keep talking about legacy. This ain't legacy to her. This is her current identity. So if she is not the best and not the most revered right now, who the fuck am I? And what you see when people can transition and be like, and transition into legacy and transition into, I'm good with what I've done, I'm proud of my work, it's because they have something else. They're evolving into the next iteration of themselves. Rihanna. Where she feels very stuck and very dormant in this thing. And I think it's a hurt Nicki is stuck and she can't grow past that little girl in the industry that's still trying to make it through. And who knows what the else she may have experienced where she felt rejected or anything else. So this is what she actually needs, in my humble opinion, which makes complete sense. But if you're solid in yourself and you know what you've done,
she's not.
You could go ahead and big up the next person and give them their flowers and have them give you your flowers and be proud of the doors that you've opened for them.
Right.
But she ain't never opened no doors. She don't want
and that was the thing I was gonna say. She ain't never opened
and
no
she
doors
can't
for nobody.
stand and open doors. Let's I want to make sure to let the record reflect too. It's Cardi that has always been about female collaboration. This era, we see all the girls working together, whatever. Cardi was the one. I working with the gals.
Cardi's a girl's girl.
I'm jumping on. That's Cardi. Cardi was doing that, and Nicki took that shit personally hated it. And every time she found herself trying to even create the appearance of liking other gals, she can't keep it up. She'll do a track, Hot Girl Summer, fuck this bitch. Immediately 2 seconds later, she'll do a track with Ice Spice, fuck this bitch. 2 seconds later, she'll do something with Coi Leray. She on Twitter talking shit about Coi Leray album. She Han Lotto cool talking shit about Lotto. Now Lotto was a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's consistent. She can't even fathom it because in her mind, None of these bitches supposed to have nothing, and she can't. I think Antoinette's right. I think Antoinette makes an amazing point. It's a present day struggle, because the reality is, I think, no, if you always think that you deserve more, you will never be happy with what you get. Like, it's because it's not like Nicki fell off. I will not say
That's
that.
a
Like,
word.
first of all, I don't listen to Nicki no more off of Red Ruby the Sleeves. That was when I stopped. I said, oh no, Nicki, I don't know what you've gotten on, but I heard them lines with Meg, and I said, you know what? You making it to my R. Kelly list. I said, Spotify don't recommend this shit to me no more. But Queen was good. She's put out consistently good projects. The problem is she lives in we live in a world, right, where artists are constantly, if everything don't do the biggest numbers they ever did, if they don't do what the last project did, all it is a constantly being held up to your former self, right? I think Bryson Tiller made an excellent point when he was like, when people be like, oh, you can't top Trap Soul, and he was like, I don't need to, it's mine, I did it. You need to top Trap Soul, I made it.
That was a good point he made. I was like,
it was a great point.
Like, we are constantly, how you shaming people for not doing what they did? They made it. You know what I mean? So I'll never take that from Nicki. I don't think Nicki needs to be held to that standard of like, oh, if she didn't do this amount of sales, if da-da-da. I remember thinking this from when Queen was treated like it wasn't commercially successful because it wasn't as successful as the last thing. I was like, that's not fair. That's a good project. It did well. But it's been that consistently. I think you combine it with what Antoinette is saying, is this need to, my identity is tied up into this need to think I'm supposed to still be performing at the same level in this like industry and world and social media where people are constantly considering everything a flop if it's not fire out the gate. I think we forget that. I had seen someone say something about Lizzo the other day, and they were talking about how her 2 singles flopped from her new album that's not out yet.
Her new mixtape.
They said that they were like, not even the mixtape. They was talking about like the 2 songs that are going to be in the album that's not out yet. And I was like, do you realize that when Lizzo popped off, it was from some songs she put out in 2016? She popped off for Truth Hurts in 2020, a song she put out in 2016 when she was living in the car. So to say to an artist who got their big break off of 4 years of patience, off an album, off a song materializing way down the line, that they've flopped, that they're in their flop era and stuff.
And I would say, mind you, that's not and Lizzo's not the only person that had that.
Yeah.
Boot Up, LMA had that happen to her as well. And then there was another artist that it happened to, and they were like, yo, this song been out for a year. Oh, Doja Cat. She literally had to retroactively create a visual album for her, not Amala, but what's the other one that she put out?
Yeah, I know. The pink one. Yeah.
The pink one. Yes. So she retroactively.
Doechii too, because Doechii ain't the new artist.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they retroactively have been doing it. So there's a lot more delayed gratification that's been happening with the artists in this current time, where it's just like, when it pops up, it's going to pop off and it's going to go from there. But oftentimes I think a lot of folks, especially from like Nicki's generation of folks, they had, and I get it, Nicki came from the mixtape era, she had to sell the stuff out the back of her car, do all this, but it's like, if you're unable to evolve with the times, like, talent is great, it gets you in the door, but it's never enough to sustain you for a long term. And I think that space where she's not sustaining herself is like, Nicki, maybe you got to get in a Tyler Perry film or something like that. You wanted to be an actress too. Maybe you might have to do something else, right? It's just, something else to kind of...
When you said that into that face, took me down. I am so sorry. That was funny.
Visceral.
But her and Olay gonna have 2 very different reactions. But
I'm the hater on the podcast today. Damn.
Yeah.
I just realized I'm the hater.
No, it's okay.
It gotta be one of us every week. It gotta be one of us.
Episode.
Everybody needs a hater, and that's okay.
I hate that for me.
They get
Olay and friends lore.
nuance.
But the nuance there too. Oh, go ahead, Olay. I mean, Antoinette.
I think that there's something to be said here about this needing to outdo yourself, right? We hear that a lot with artists where it's like, I'm only in competition with myself. I got to be better than the next project. And I hate to be the person that always brings this up, but that is a symptom of capitalism. That is what we're taught. You have to, you're not doing anything unless you're growing, unless you're making more, doing more. So of course, if your art is actually your business and the way in which you sustain yourself, you're going to absolutely take that on and be like, oh, well, if I don't even know a Nicki Minaj album. What was the first album, y'all? Say it. What's the name of it, y'all?
The Pink Print.
Pink Friday. Okay. If that came out and then I drop, and that was crazy, and then I got to drop something else, it has to do that times 2. Otherwise, you're sitting in these meetings trying to justify why
Right.
you have the backing that you
Pink
have.
Friday. Pink Print was later.
Yeah,
20
Pink Friday.
Pink Friday was first in
There we
2010.
go.
Most artists don't
That's
do as well
wonderful.
on their second album anyway. That's why it's like the sophomore slump. So it's pretty common to not do as well.
It's common, but it's not something that I think any label or anyone that is financially backing the project is happy about.
Right.
Yeah.
No, of course
That
not.
pressure has got to be
Keisha Cole
wild.
talked about that with her second project and about the reason why the two singles that she had, like she said that they initially had told her that her second album wasn't going to do well, and she had to put her own money into Sent from Heaven and the other single that she, and I know you're probably like, how do we get to Keisha Cole? But to your point, like when you get to the second album, especially as a Black artist in the industry, it's kind of expected that you're not going to do well. And so sometimes you do have to bet on yourself. But I don't know. I wish, kind of going back to the original point, I wish that Nicki could, I want to give her a hug. Like, I really just like, and again, I'm not, I know I'll probably never meet her, but I just want to give her a hug, because
It can be virtual.
if we even really want to talk about it, she before we saw her cards when she did what she did to Little Kim, right?
That
at
part.
the beginning of it. Like, if we really want to go there, let's talk about what she said and what she did to Little Kim. And so, you know, there is this mentality in the industry that if it ain't me, it's not successful. And I don't know how people, how do I say this? I don't know.
Did you do the Nicki Minaj?
What was that?
Sorry, I thought you said.
No, I was like, no, that's not what I was doing. I guess I'm trying to figure out what I want to say and how I want to say it without it coming across as a slate. I think for me, my thing is that I just don't understand, and this is not just with Nicki. I think in general, how do you feel well at night, or how do you sleep at night? I hate saying that, but how do you sleep at night knowing that you're shitting on other people who might be struggling as hard as you in the same industry? Like, for me, I would never.
She can't feel that way because she feels like they're undeserving. Like,
but also it was hard for her. There are people in this world who are like, if it was hard for me, it's going to be hard for you too.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not serious enough about it. Like there's a lot of times in our community where we create the same roadblocks for one another as a rites of passage.
The burning
that's the problem.
And that's what kind of cooks me, though, because it's really like, for me, what irritates me is when Nicki gets into defense mode, she starts to use use any kind of Black radical talking point or feminist theory or anything like that, and she bastardizes it so bad. And it's bastardized to the point where it's just like, you want to garner sympathy through a feminist framework, but you are acting in a very anti-feminist way. And to me, that's the part that doesn't make sense to my brain. Like, if you're going to own it. And I get it. Like, this language is now in Gen Pop. Maybe I shouldn't say Gen Pop. That was crazy. But it is like in the public imagination now. And so because of that, everybody wants access to it. And so even when she goes on these rants, she's playing villain and victim at the same time. And it really kind of be cooking me in that point in time. And so what I think the other piece, what Antoinette was getting at, is there is an assumption with people who have been in the industry longer that if you want to, if you're the one who wants to kick doors down, then you have to be okay with the fact that there's going to be less barriers that they have to get through in order to have that modicum of success, right? And so to me, it's always like a cognitive dissonance, because there's no way you can say, I want it to be better. And I don't think she said it. I'm just saying now in general, I want it to be better for the next generation. But in that same breath, I'm going to resent that generation for having to go through less than I did. And so for me, I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't have to be that rites of passage. And this game is completely different now. Like, we can acknowledge the fact that Nicki said, yo, streaming actually matters now. So there needs to be a shift in how this is going. So we can credit her with what she did for that, in terms of like pushing them to acknowledge streaming and those numbers in a different way. And at that same time, you can't now say, well, now they're playing with Drake. Now they're doing this. And now they're doing these numbers. Because now you're cooking me.
Women doing well. Other women are doing well. So now the streaming numbers is bots. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but that's my thing.
Nicki,
but you also don't have a dependence on having that big time success. In the era of social media that we're in now, Doechie's allowed to have a smaller fan base, but that's going to sustain her from these live performances. Artists can now go on tour more often because it doesn't have to be just sustained by, did I sell this amount of records? All talk around it. Tours is really what is getting them their bag, which is why they on tours all the time. I haven't seen Drake off a tour yet. Chris Brown has a tour every year. they have to tour in order to sustain because they're not getting the streams the way that they used to. And so I'm like, you gotta.
But the streams ain't paying them either.
They're not, which is why
But
they're on
it's
tour, and they gotta sell their merch.
Let me-
But
Everybody
they
moves
have
like an
fans to
influencer.
come to
She's
their
not.
tours
Nicki
as well.
does not do anything for anybody but Nicki, including, and I want to say that that includes even the people you expect her to be on the team of, right? Because when she did that streaming numbers, that was for her benefit. But if it happened to benefit other people, like whatever, she don't.
yeah.
It's not even like she cool with that. She actually has a problem with it happening to benefit other people, just like Drake. Drake is big at all the special treatment from Spotify. His label pushes his shit same way, but soon as the same label doing the he perceive them as doing whatever for Kendrick is a problem, right? So they're not even people that are like self-interested and okay that it happens to benefit other people. They are self-interested and they have an active problem with it benefiting anybody. And I think to the point of her doing this Spotify, her talking about the streams ain't even because Drake is challenging them. Because Nicki don't give a fuck about Drake, because at the top of her timeline right now to insult SZA, she talking about, oh, is she on tour? Is she on her bros tour? Where does that sound familiar? Sounds like a little lyric out of Back to Back when Drake was making them jokes about Meek Mill and she was she ain't jumping to defend no Drake. She ain't jumping to defend no Meek. It was them. Nicki is somebody that worry about Nicki. So if you see it seem like, oh, her and Drake on one team, that just happens to be that they being two bitter bitches at the same time. Just
And I think
coincidentally.
I feel like it's so with the internet, what you said when you like, she don't see herself in that way. She sees herself as still queen, as still the girl, the rapper, the one that people have to go to, the source, not the resource. She sees herself as that when it comes in the industry. But everybody else knows. That's why our conversations and even conversations online are the like everything, like what John Paul was saying, like, hey, you know, I just want to give her a hug because what's the real problem here? I'm not really seeing it because you are actually somebody who is a legend to us. We see you as that. We regard you as that. We can't even say your music is whack. We can't even really go there with it. We're just saying you are crashing out, actively crashing out in front of the world. But she sees herself she doesn't regard herself as, okay, she doesn't see herself as legendary. And I think it's taking this turn, and it's always been that way. Even when she was arguing with Lil' Kim, there's this control, right? She made it look like Lil' Kim was the issue. Lil' Kim was trying to steal her spot. Lil' Kim was stopping her from shining, all of that. And that was never the case.
Right.
But right now, actively, the very thing, like you were saying, that she said Lil' Kim was doing to her. And then it was funny because at that moment, she does this now. In that moment, at first, it was Lil' Kim this, Lil' Kim that. Previous interviews will show that Nicki Minaj was always referencing Lil' Kim and, her as her inspiration for coming up in rap in New York, all the things. And all of a sudden, this beef came up and she was like, you know what? It was always Foxy Brown. It was always Foxy. It was always going to be Foxy. She likes to always cause division, knowing that there was division, old school division with them two, and then bringing it back with this. And that's, I think, even with the arguing online, it was some argument with Cardi B, and then Cardi was like, F you, Nicki, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And then I think made her whole thing about Remy being actually the greatest, even though we were reaching, but it was like, this becomes division. Everything that Nicki Minaj inserts herself into when she swears up and down that she's bringing togetherness amongst the rap girlies because she didn't get that opportunity. She actually is the very person she swears that Lil' Kim was. And it's with all the girls from that time, from when Nicki Minaj was coming to any other girl that the rap girlie that was trying to come up or that has been successful or anything. Nicki Minaj has had beef with them. And I just feel like it's a her thing. It's an internal thing with her, but because of what she's gone through, all of these points are valid because of what she's gone through. But also she's just not, I don't think she's okay with not being in the spotlight. That doesn't mean that she's no longer good. It doesn't mean that all her work was for nothing. It does not mean that she did not have an effect on the industry. But I think in her mind, she's not wrapping that around her head. And then with anytime they're bringing her up these days in 2025, last year, it's always associated with her husband, who we know, his history.
And so the thing is, it ain't even because people like I would give her, it would be different if it was like, listen, as a criminal defense attorney and all of that, my inherent problem isn't even that she married a man that's been previously convicted of crimes, whatever. It's the shit she does afterwards. If Nicki If Nicki said like, okay, I love this man, he did these things in his past, whatever, that's not who he is. I'm with him, I'm building my life with him, cool, and we shut the fuck up, everything blessed. But that's not what happens. Like
No,
beyond
she
all the
intimidated victims.
intimidating victims,
And
and then
then-
actively being so upset by the fact that you have to answer to the public that criticizes you for doing that. It's like, it's not just that this is a husband, it's what Nicki has done to defend and cover that husband. And let's not also forget, when she was using that same husband, he don't just happen to be like a criminal. She boasts that he's a criminal. She's going on live having, and remember when it was like, was it Offset who he was like waiting outside for, and he was on live threatening to beat him up and all of this different stuff. She like threatening people, like she was doing that to like academics and them or whatever. I'm telling you, this was a whole thing with like her talking about, oh, her nigga gonna beat up academics and Jason.
Yeah.
She weaponizes him like he's a fucking bouncer at the bar, like he is her literal god dog. So the problem isn't just that he has this record, that he has anything. It's not us saying like somebody with a criminal record or somebody who's done horrible things is irredeemable. It's that Nicki and that go out of their way to show us like, oh no, it's not a mistake. There's a criminal. Yeah, I got with me, blah, blah, blah. And then in the same breath of going out of her way to boast, she got this hood on her arm. She's upset that people like, well, you have that criminal hood on her arm. So then she tries to deflect by any time any other person has something so much less significant that they are dealing with legally to murder, rape, and your child molesting brother. The second is that she can't wait to like be like, oh my God, look at this. That's why even in that paragraph about SZA, she tried to bring up some lawsuits. She did the same thing, Jay-Z. She's trying to bring up same thing with Meg. She want to bring up everything else because she feels insecure about that situation. So the problem for me is not that she would dismiss the hypocrisy. You actively still want to uphold the system. You the one saying we need to shame people, shame these women. Oh, they have this lawsuit, they have civil suits. But you ain't nobody supposed to say nothing but the nigga with the beep on the ankle.
I just want to say, I think that this is a scheme that Todd set up.
And
to hit us with the bullshit. I think this is a scheme that Todd set up to hit us with the bullshit.
That is hilarious.
I just had to say it. It just feels that way. It feels
really
like a
feels that
scheme
way.
that Todd set up. Yes.
Absolutely. No, there's no reason. I think that this is, I mean, there is a reason. Again, she's looking for the reason is really she just misses, I think she misses being who she was. But the thing is, we still regard her as that person. So we can't do nothing about
starships.
We can't do nothing about her not believing in herself. Again, she got to go sit on somebody's couch. She has to go deal with herself. She has to go talk. Like it's and the fact that she gets away with it, and then her trying to use God, you know, I know we had this conversation before, but this is somebody just because she was on Tasha, Tasha Cobb's, that's who it was, Tasha Cobb's song, and she feels that, and she feels like I'm covered. I've been, touched by Tasha Cobb's, and the gospel industry love me, so touch not. She tried to use that verse, which I can't stand when pastors do it or people in the church. Touch not my anointed. Girl, you're not acting anointed. So I think that you really have to go sit on somebody's couch, have this conversation with a professional, like a counselor, because there's a lot that you've been going through in the public eye that we've seen. It doesn't feel good to have your man who's pushing a certain age outside saying that he want to meet Offset, like, with his old head men, like on the corner. That video was insane.
Mind you, he was on live, and he violated his parole. He violated his parole.
It's
you
crazy.
Remember?
I remember. The North remembers.
I was embarrassed when I seen it. I really was like, wow, this is Nicki Minaj's husband. Oh my. And then this is Nicki Minaj's child's father, who's outside knowing he got issues, knowing everything that was said about him is facts on facts. We can just Google, right? There's paperwork, legal paperwork that tells us this is who you are. But you're outside with men who are like 55 plus, threatening people's lives. And I'm like, I think that she's just crashing out because of those personal reasons. Like there's a lot of personal stuff, and also whatever she's went through in the industry, and how I think it's a mirror that she's afraid to pass by, because it's going to be her having to look at what she's done to people recently, the things that she said, the hurtful things. It's all going to be like, she has to take a moment. This is one of even when I said Drake needed to sit down for a second. If you still trying to be in there, you're gonna crash out and it's not gonna work for you. We're gonna start looking at you like a loser. We're gonna start looking at you like you're not that person anymore. It's
If I had
Aaron.
my Twitter, if I still had Twitter, did not deactivate everything, I said in 2019, 2020s, midway through, is going to be the downfall of Drake because he does not allow to miss him. He's going on a Rihanna, Ariana, back to back to back to back. It's too much. Give us time to miss you. What the? And then I'd be mad because I'd be like, y'all have so much, and I know I shouldn't have this like.
Drake didn't even need to make his message. I mean, he just needed to be quiet.
He needed to be quiet. But you know what the thing for me is? I'm like, these are artists that I think could put out some of the best conceptual projects, and they no longer have to play the industry rule. In my mind, I don't know what they actually got going on behind closed doors, but in my mind, I'm like, y'all are at a level in your career where you can break every freaking rule possible, and you choose not to. Like, your audience is going to follow you along if you would put out something sophisticated and grown and actually has grown with you. And that's been my biggest beef with those artists, because I'm like, I don't mind pussy rap. I don't mind money rap. I still listen to Ross on a regular basis. However, please
I don't mind. I love pussy. Like, what bad bitch rap is my favorite. Aaron, pull it up. Y'all gotta see.
Just grow with your art.
So I need y'all to understand what my problem is with Nicki Minaj and her husband, how they move. Look at this shit. So you can see it. So y'all know I ain't exaggerate. This was a man wholly online. Imagine, nigga, if you been in New York City and standing through a corner in Manhattan just all night.
I know.
On
That's why it really irked me. I said, now, at this time of night,
Aaron, take the link.
I'm sorry, Aaron is funny in the chat. Aaron has to go.
Aaron is petty in there.
Retweeting people with 1K followers.
Aaron is funny in that chat.
You said that lady.
Y'all been missing it.
Sometimes. You ever see Avatar?
Okay, yay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Where you at? What's poppin'?
Oh God, I'm embarrassed already.
Yeah. You don't know. They said you don't know. Zoom. Plan that vacation. Yeah. You're planning your funeral. All the way to the street.
He said, I'm rich. He said, what are y'all poors doing? That's what it's giving.
We up and up, Jay. Y'all got there. Y'all outside. All set. We
because I'm on a private jet.
Live with a criminal record and an entire internet watching his criminal activity. It is man on probation or whatever have you. This man gonna lie with his other criminal friends, put on the hat and said, "Hey, you gonna be planning your funeral." Like, hey,
he's like, you can't even find me.
You can't even spell private. You can't even spell plane.
You can't even spell plane.
Yeah. Another famous nigga.
You can't even spell plane.
Mm-hmm. There's a theory that I have that I'm gonna bring to y'all. That when I see, if you would all take a moment to just Google Nicki Minaj, her husband's jeans. And when I see jeans worn as such, I'm very clear of the type of person that I'm dealing with.
I was just thinking
because it cuts the circulation off to your brain. And so you're automatically behind a couple steps and you got to be caught up. I swear.
That was the thought I had.
I've been saying this.
It's Kmart.
And y'all think I'm being funny. I'm not being funny. I've been saying this. You can't Amazon breathe jeans. In that. It's just
it's them Amazon
it's just
jeans.
like that. And then you got the fit. It's just like there's a certain, you know what it is. Like, this is big New York energy. And it's a certain type of big New York energy. And it's like, it ain't enough lawyers in the world to help this man understand what he needs to do and how he needs to sit down and be quiet. That his whole life is mapped out for him because his wife got him.
And she's decided he's her pit bull.
AJ, what?
I had Googled Big Zoo jeans, but a bunch of lions eating jeans pulled up. So
Now, I was gonna say it was Kmart. I blame Kmart for all of this. That deal that she had with Kmart.
Oh, I
Yeah,
remember that back in the day.
Yeah, she had a deal with Kmart for her clothing line, and I believe that's
Oh,
when
yes.
everything went left for her. Is when she started realizing that all the other girls were getting bigger deals than her, and she got stuck with Kmart that went out of business. That's my theory.
You
I
know
was
what's
up for the
crazy?
No,
Because
you
not
know what?
that-
I don't have no deal with Kmart, and my broke ass needs to shut the fuck up.
No,
Listen,
I'm
Let me-
talking because
no.
okay, because let's not go too far.
No,
with
no,
that,
no, but
because
let-
all of
no.
us would like
I
a deal
was
with
at
Kmart.
Kmart
in
looking
I
January.
ain't
for
gonna-
her
I'm
stuff.
just saying though.
Can-
I was at Kmart looking for her things.
Rebecca.
I'm not shading the
But
deal.
you
What I'm
did bring
saying
up a
I
is,
good
understand.
memory
No, I
for
know.
me.
I think
I'm being
her
silly.
looking around and saying, "Why do I get Kmart when everyone else is getting Macy's and
funny
other
you
stuff?"
say
Is
it.
where it started.
You know what? I think okay. I might have. You said Kmart, and I realized Nikki's not a fashion girl. That's
No,
what I just
never
realized. Never
Never
been. And maybe
Oh.
that's been her issue. She is the one who never followed the actual formula. Kim was a fashion girl. Doechii, a fashion girl.
Fashion girl,
You
yeah.
can think around all the rappers
Cardi.
that go. Cardi, fashion girl.
Fashion
I said,
girl.
now
Cardi
has
is
Nick-
Well, you can't tell Nicki
fashion.
she's not a and like she can admit she received that. She
Child.
don't. She identifies as a fashion girl. I'm sure.
and she's not.
Well,
And you know what? I realized there's a
Not identified.
not self-identifies. I just realized that because she has not followed that. Because in my mind, I said I've seen all these hip hop girls go with Donatella Versace. I said they've been like properly done at the Met Gala. They've been at these big
But
fashion
every
moments
time
and stuff.
Nikki came to the Met Gala,
it don't eat.
Sometimes
it never.
never.
I remember Nicki have something with a deal with Fendi one time. I remember her being Fendi from head to
Yeah.
toe.
But you know, but
That was
Nicki
the
is
wet
also
look she
like
had.
Nicki is Logomania down, and she's never evolved from Logomania. And because of that, I
But
was
she's
like,
also from. Well, no, let me not.
Ooh.
Okay. Let me stop right there. But what I will say, because they do. I would live there for
they
years.
love their
it's-
Logomania.
They like it, and where she's from specifically, they like it. But what I will say, Nikki, when it comes to fashion, when Safari, we remember that clip. Safari said, I don't care for Safari, but when Safari told her it wasn't gonna work, immediately when she went after him in his jean jacket. Now, girl, that's your partner.
Yeah.
And the outfit didn't. When I look back at that clip, I said no, the whole everything about it, hair, everything. But Nikki has always been a caricature. Like she likes to, like when she raps, and that's always been her look. And then when we finally see her, because I like that era when she just went, and wore her natural hair for a little bit, and just kind of
she was doing look at y'all do whatever y'all know it, the black and white music video. Look you bitch ass. Stop lying on your dick ass. You know what I'm talking
she
about.
was looking good, like just being like, I guess more just
Being
natural.
herself,
She's
yeah.
beautiful to me. She's
I can never
gorgeous.
say, like I say, I'll never say the gal don't look good. She's a beautiful gal.
She's
Oh,
gorgeous.
gorgeous
But even
face.
with all like
When she does that
talented.
middle part bust down with the
Gorgeous face.
blonde, ease down
and,
every
like,
time.
I'm never gonna catch myself. I hate this world looking at what objectively bad bitches shut any of your local establishments down and pretending they don't look good. I ain't saying nothing but Nicki. That's a bad bitch. Like she'd be bad on any street in New York. She just crazy. Hair just ain't no good. Head is no good, and she likes people to be beneath her. And I think she's
Head is
always
no
demonstrated
good.
that to us. She tell us that in her music. She want a son. She tell us that in all her romantic partners. Nicki only ever liked a lapdog. Between Safari, Meek Mill, that's what she likes. She keep a lapdog on her. Okay,
Is
she
this
need
style
that.
lapdog? But she likes to try to make him seem like he runs things. This is a different when she tries to.
She's seem like they run anything.
She
Just
tries to make it look like that because she
Yeah.
never did that with Meek
Which
Mill,
one?
and she
Who?
never did that with Safari. But
You
this
think she
one,
tries
she
to
like
make it look like the husband runs them?
this one. I'm really trying.
Does
not
he
to,
have
but
a
this
name?
one. This one, she
Kenneth.
tries to be like,
Kenneth
my
Petty.
husband.
Say
My
it,
husband
Rebecca.
doesn't want
How do
this.
you identify him?
Kenneth.
I don't.
I'm
I just like
the
I
hater this episode.
Friday, girl.
Yeah, I'm like, does he? Because y'all keep saying the husband, and I'm like, what is this nigga's name?
the husband.
Nobody knows his name. That's the
I don't know
problem.
his name, and I'm not gonna Google
like
it.
a lapdog.
She never, with Meek Mill,
But you don't know his
we
name?
never saw her really refer to him as like my man, my man, my man. Safari, baby, she never claimed him, but we all knew.
He was
But
always
this one,
dancing behind her.
it's like right. That time was a crazy time.
Such a wild time in music.
It was such a wild time. Like what? Safari was just there, popping and locking. And
This one is for the girls with the booming
I was like,
system.
you gotta find a performance where he on stage
on stage. Just, you
I
know,
gotta
He
find
was
you.
pop locking, yeah.
Yes,
He
you know which one I'm about to
was.
find it.
on that
But
That's
all I
the
see him
title.
is in that pink jacket and in pink pants.
Yeah,
It
And
What
he
a
was
says,
in the
time,
back
though.
he love
hitting
a
it
good
behind
mink.
her.
I'm finding
Yeah.
it. That's what we gotta watch before we leave. Yeah, I'm finding it. What?
On that
Oh.
girl stage during her performance. But
What a time.
she's always been a character. She dated characters. I think now she's trying to make this guy seem like my thug man who keeps the, he keep it down. He puts it down. When she be doing live, she tries to say these things about him and it never gives that. Like, I don't.
You know when you gotta overcompensate when you know something else is not
Yes.
giving what it's supposed to give.
That part.
And that's exactly what it's always given.
Aaron,
I
pull it up.
said, you're trying to make fetch happen and I need you to stop immediately.
Yeah.
That man is not fetch.
But she keeps trying to tell us he is.
No, she just be telling us he worked for her. Every time she mention him, she talks about him as the criminal on payroll. She literally be like, "My is a gangster. They coming to come deal
he'll
with
come
this."
to
He
your
gonna
block.
She
kill
treats him
you.
like a goon.
He knows
yeah.
people.
Hate it here. This
She never said that about me.
I'm leaving.
They've recorded a new
I'm
song
going
together
home.
entitled Check It Out, which is available for
Please
digital
don't. I'm
download.
gonna
Please welcome
secondhand
Will I
embarrass
Am
that.
and Nicki Minaj.
That pink shirt. That's what I see.
Watch Safari in the pink shirt.
That kid.
Why do I know all the words to the song though?
Wait for this. I hate this song.
I was like, I hated this.
Come on, Safari.
I'm
Go
just waiting
ahead.
for Safari to steal the show. My nigga is.
He's holding his position.
He
You
is.
listen,
Wait,
wait.
he
He said that mannequin challenge is ready.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get the fuck out of there so he can fuck it up.
This is very professional, in my opinion. Of the
Hey, check it out. Check it out.
This
Check it
motherfucker.
out.
What year was
Check
it?
it out.
No, this is pissing me off, actually.
This was
This is pissing
2012,
me
I
off.
think.
This is so bad, guys.
And he's still here. We're like 2 minutes in and he's still here.
Step up in the party like my name was Mr. T. All these haters ain't got nothing on me.
My nigga is so frozen. I'm like, that's the way it is.
So amazing. Let's go into
Wow.
Okay, grab him right back. I need to see when he starts moving.
Oh.
Okay.
And
Oh,
Okay.
2010.
Y'all for 2 minutes straight?
Check this smaller brother out. It got me in the club, just rocking like this.
Oh.
The dun dun.
The sun done, yup, the sun done. Came up, but we still in the dungeon. The dun dun,
Go with
yup,
her,
the
me and
dun
y'all.
dun. How much you want?
Yes, I would love some.
And she gonna stick right beside
They
him.
run done. Man, cause I'm getting money in abundance. Man, I can't even count on it hundreds. Duffel bag every time I go to Suntrust. Is that just to collect interest? I'm being interested. That's one of us. Exclamation, just for emphasis. And I'll say that
Go Safari, go Safari.
Go Safari. Go Safari.
What is she
Rebecca,
doing?
you are my people. Yes. Hype them up, girl. The Safari.
They
Give
really
us
hit the art, man.
nothing. Give us absolutely nothing.
He came to the front to show us.
It's a song.
After being here for 2 minutes.
Gave us nothing.
she's committed, though. I'll give it to her.
This was
Turn
an
that
era, because I'm
2010
looking at the
fashion.
outfit,
My
the
God.
shoe. It
Oh,
was a
yeah,
time.
I'm so sorry.
It was a time.
I'm so sorry.
He
It's
said, came
like-
through the party looking like Mr. T.
He's
Everybody
still in character.
looking at me. Is that what he said?
No.
Can we talk about the Clips album or something? What the f are we doing?
But this was a time.
Bro,
This
I
was very
can't.
much a time.
I'm tired.
Safari was right here for 2 minutes straight.
He said for 2 minutes.
We had a topic right there. What's wrong with us?
Stop what you're doing and listen up. You just watched a video on one of my channels, but the Illuminati verse is huge, and I want to tell you what everything is and how to find it. The Illuminati verse has 6 channels. On the YouTube homepage of any one of those channels, every single channel in the Illuminati verse is featured at the bottom of the the page so you can always easily find them. Okay, remember I said that. Don't say I ain't tell you how to find it. Subscribe to my main channel, Olay to find my Olay Productions, which are my long form video essays and also all of my backlog of content. Subscribe to my second love child, Olay Pop, for my weekly video essays analyzing my favorite TV and movie shows and characters. Olay Pop also has its own Patreon where you get all of those videos uncensored. Subscribe to my channel, Olay Friends, for my podcast, Olay Friends. New episodes of Olay Friends come out every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe to Olay and Chill for new episodes of my podcast, Olay and Chill, every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And also, both Olay Friends and Olay and Chill are both available on streaming platforms like Spotify. Subscribe to Olay Bites if you want my takes, but you don't have an hour to spend. Subscribe to Olay Politics for my political analysis and my State of the Union type addresses on my show O Squared. And last but not least, subscribe to my Substack Olay for my written work.